What's going on, everyone? Little Drendel here. I hope you guys are having a good weekend thus far. It's Saturday morning, a little after 9 o'clock. Uh, well, I apologize for this video being a little late, guys. I had planned on putting this out last night, Friday last night, but unfortunately for me, exhaustion caught up from work, and I needed to turn in so I could just rest and recharge. So, today, I'm going to give you guys my predictions for, and this is my opinion, doesn't seem a very good preview good pay-per-view. The reason I say that, okay, but let me just get to what I'm talking about. Survivor Series for WWE, the big pay-per-view, is tomorrow, and I'm not going to do that little WWE Network cheap plug. Fuck that shit. But it takes place 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you're in the Pacific, it's 4 p.m. So be sure you have your times set right if you guys plan to watch this. Now, the reason I feel Survivor Series doesn't look good, and maybe it's just because I'm used to seeing every championship on the line with 2 or 3 matches. Although they did transition a couple of years, they had transitioned those kind of the tag elimination style like matches to bragging rights, which I didn't mind it, but at the same time, it's the fact that they only have 2 championships on the line. You know what? Let's go. First, let me give you guys what the projected matches are. We have WWE Cruiserweight Champion, the Brian Kendrick, which I think it just said Brian Kendrick. The Brian Kendrick sounds retarded. But then again, whatever. Versus Kalisto. So, Raw versus SmackDown. If Kalisto wins, SmackDown Live will get the entire Cruiserweight division. Match number 2, we have the Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, versus Sami Zayn. So, SmackDown's champion versus Raw's challenger. Then we have 3 Team Raw versus Team SmackDown matches. We have a 10-on-10, and then the women's 5-on-5 and the men's 5-on-5. And then apparently the main event's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. And I'm going to be honest when I say this. And this isn't sour grapes. I remember watching WrestleMania 20. I watched Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. The special guest referee for that match was Stone Cold. And to be quite honest, I don't know what to think of it. I'm at a point where it's like, I don't know, is WWE starting to rely on, they starting to rely on the past just to give themselves, a boost for their future? I don't know. I mean, they did this. It's kind of like what they did with Sting, even though Sting ended up getting hurt, which kind of fueled up his retirement. Although reports and rumors state that he's holding off on it in order and wants to have a WrestleMania match with The Undertaker. Which, if you guys hadn't watched SmackDown, he's apparently back. Whether it's full time, part time, he'd said, "I'm back." Taking souls and digging holes. And he had issued a warning to the men's side that if they lose, they don't need to fear failure. They need to fear the dead man. Now, I mean, there was a little bit more said in that promo that he did, but I ain't gonna waste y'all's time with that. So, let's get to it. Now, why do I say that this Survivor Series doesn't look good at all? Simple. All tag team action. It feels like bragging rights now. I remember Survivor Series used to have the world championships on the line. It used to it had, and I would have loved for them to have 2 more championships defended. But then again, it's like they just WWE's going in a different direction now. So it's like I don't know what to say. It's like I don't know. I think it ain't gonna feel like the Survivor Series that several people that may make videos about this, or some people who even watch WWE, such as myself, it ain't gonna feel the same anymore. And maybe, like I said, maybe I'm just over-analyzing it, maybe. But I would like to think some people feel the same. So, let's get to predictions. Okay, we have 2 stipulations, practically. If the Kalisto wins, the Cruiserweight division goes to SmackDown Live. Or we'll call it SmackDown, okay? And you know what? WWE should have just kept calling it SmackDown. I mean, you don't say Raw Live. I mean, and then Miz versus Sami Zayn. Should Sami Zayn win, Raw will get the Intercontinental title. And I'm going to say, and this is going to have an asterisk, unless somehow Raw trades Sami Zayn to SmackDown for somebody else. Who knows? Those are the 2 seemingly biggest stipulations. Now, it doesn't say the stipulation for the Miz and Sami Zayn, and it could be that they have that match outcome set in stone as it is. Well, in plain sight on the website. But I digress. So, Kendrick versus Kalisto. Well, Cruiserweight division really, I feel, hasn't gotten much headway in regards to on Raw. So, the United States title, let's see, they got the Cruiserweight title, U.S. title, Universal title, which just sounds like shit. The Raw Women's title, which some people feel is the better title, versus the SmackDown's Women's title. Which, well, when you look at it, it kind of does look that way. Give me a second here. There we go. Sorry, guys, had to plug up. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So, there's a couple outcomes I could see with this. We could have the Brian Kendrick. God. Seriously, should have just kept him as Brian Kendrick. It doesn't make whatever. Okay. Kendrick versus Kalisto. I see 2 outcomes. Kalisto getting the victory. And I can't remember what his finishers are, so guys, forgive me for not really paying close attention on that. Or the Brian Kendrick with the dirty victory. So clean versus dirty. If I had to say which is the most likely, I couldn't say which is the most likely outcome. So those would be my 2 predictions for that match. 2 potential outcomes. Kendrick winning dirty, Kalisto winning clean, and each one using their finishers, with maybe Kendrick, like rolling, holding the tights or using the ropes. Intercontinental Champion The Miz versus Sami Zayn. Now, I can't see Sami Zayn winning this match, guys, because if that happens, Raw already has the United States title. That's like saying they're going to take away one of the better championships on SmackDown. I can't see that. So how do I think this will go? I see 3 outcomes. 3. With one of them being that Sami Zayn does manage to win the title, thus bringing it to Raw. That's the only, that's the only one I'm going to give. And I'm not answering that phone call. Leave me alone. Okay. Anyway, the next 2 outcomes are SmackDown victory. The Miz wins via skull-crushing finale and some dirty tactics. The 3rd outcome, Dolph Ziggler interferes in the Intercontinental title match, which I think he's fuming. I feel he was basically screwed out of the title. Storyline wise, he was screwed. I mean, come on, guys. When's the last time Ziggler has actually defended done anything on a pay-per-view in regards to championships? I mean, come on. Give him some fucking credit. Pardon my French. So I would see Ziggler interfering and attacking The Miz, thus making a disqualification, and the victory would go, to The Miz. Those are my 3 outcomes for that match. Next up, we have the 10 on 10. And what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna name off the participants for those of you who haven't really watched or looked it over. All right, so for the 10 on 10, here we go. Team Raw will consist of The New Day, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson. I'm making sure I got this right. So that's 5 superstars right there off the bat. Sheamus, Cesaro, Enzo Amore, Big Cass. That doesn't. All right, hold on. Let me make sure. Well, so let's start with SmackDown. Okay, we have Heath Slater and Rhino. They're pretty much the captains. Then we have the Hype Bros. So there's 4. Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder. American Alpha, the Usos, and Breezango. So that's 10 superstars. Alright, versus Team Raw, and I feel they could have done much better, because judging by how they set this up, it's almost a handicap match. Almost. Because the New Day's got 3. You know what I mean? So, I guess alright. The New Day, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Sheamus Cesaro, Enzo Amore, and Big Cass, and the Shining Stars. Shining Stars, Primo, Epico, which, come on, guys, these guys have been flip-flopping as, I don't like them anymore. I really don't. Sheamus Cesaro, interesting tag team thus far. Then you got, the clubs, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows. Big Cass, Enzo Amore. I don't need to say what I think of them. I still think they're one of the most entertaining duos in the business right now. The New Day. Now, like I said, it feels like a handicap match because the New Day's got 3. So I guess they'll have to pick which 2 of the 3. I'm guessing it's going to be Kingston and Big E. I don't know. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. It's a really wacky mess. They need to be specific when they do these. So my prediction. I don't know. It's, you got solid talent on both sides. I mean, you got Slater, who's been getting real over, along with Rhino, who pretty much with the tag titles, it's rejuvenating his career, which I loved watching Rhino back in the old ECW days, TNA, SmackDown, even though he was on SmackDown for a limited time before now. So, then you got Zack Ryder with Mojo Rawley, that's the Hype Bros, which, stupid name, but whatever. I mean, you got solid talent regardless, on both sides. But, if I had to say who wins. I'm not going to do like Soul Survivor or who survives it. No. I won't do that. But I would say for the 10 on 10, I would have to give the victory prediction to Team Raw. Because they've got, when I look at it, there's more experience between them. Sheamus has been around since 2009. You've got Cesaro been around since like 2009, 2010. I can't remember the exact timing. You got Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. They've had stints all over the world. Luke Gallows had been here before. Then you got Kingston, who's been around for, I want to say, about 9-10 years. You got Big E, who was at NXT back in 2011 and has come into his own. You've got really charismatic superstars with Big Cass, Enzo Amore. Now, on the SmackDown side, you've got Rhino, who's been in the business for a very long time. You've got Heath Slater, been around since 2009, 2010. I can't remember when he was doing the NXT Season 1, right? And then you got Zack Ryder, who's been around since 2007, 2008, maybe a little before then. And then you got the Usos, which is about 2010. So there's more experience combined on the Raw side versus the SmackDown side. Now, I know they could say experience doesn't really say everything, but I feel, my opinion, that experience wins out. That there will be more cohesion between the Raw superstars versus SmackDown. But then again, anything is possible. But my prediction stands with Team Raw. Even though I feel SmackDown is more entertaining. Now the 5-on-5 women's elimination match. We have Team Raw and Team SmackDown. Now, let's read some more about it. So that way I can tell you who the superstars are in these matches. I can already tell you Team Raw will have... Alright, here we go. Team Raw, judging by the looks of it. Obviously, you have Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Alicia Fox, and I'm assuming the one on the left, I'm assuming is Nia Jax. I could be wrong. Let me take a look. Yep, captained by Charlotte Flair, featuring Sasha Banks, Bayley, Fox, and yep, Nia Jax. Now, it's going to be... And if Sasha Banks is not able to make it, apparently Dana Brooke would be the replacement for Sasha Banks. Now, whether that happens or not, I don't know. I don't care. Now, for the women's side, the SmackDown side. And this one, you gotta, when you look at it, it's kind of hard to say. But I'll go into that part later. We have Nikki Bella, Becky Lynch, Naomi, I want to say, and then Carmella. Let's see, make sure if I got that right. And yep, Carmella and Alexa Bliss. So, and their coach is, their coach apparently is the Queen of Hearts, Natalya. So it's, I don't know. Alright, so let's go into the whole spiel, alright? Now, when it comes to Team Raw, Bayley and Sasha Banks have had major issues with Charlotte. Now, if Dana Brooke replaces Sasha Banks, Bayley's had issues with Dana Brooke. She's had issues with Nia Jax, especially since, Charlotte pretty much sicked Nia Jax on Bayley when Bayley stuck up for Sasha Banks. I'm sorry, guys. I'm tongue-tied here. Now, Alicia Fox is kind of I think, Dana Brooke should have taken the place of Alicia Fox, but it's whatever. Alicia Fox, I don't think, has been in a pay-per-view for... I don't think she's been in a pay-per-view for a while, so I guess... we'll see what happens here. But unity between them is not looking good. I will be honest there. Now, let's take a look at the SmackDown side. Alexa Bliss, who's had her share of issues with Becky Lynch. Carmella's had her share of issues with Nikki Bella. Naomi's kind of been the odd one out that's kind of gotten involved slowly in some pieces. However, and I repeat, however, Carmella has jumped to Nikki Bella's defense on it during one episode of SmackDown. So it could be safe to say that when it comes to Carmella and Nikki Bella, an enemy of my enemy is my friend. Common enemies, so to speak. And it's going to be intriguing. So, I don't know. It's going to be... there's several different outcomes. I know some people have talked about one of the SmackDown Live participants should get injured and be replaced by another diva. And some people actually thought that Asuka would have been on Team SmackDown should one of the SmackDown divas get injured. Well, we'll just call them women, okay? Screw saying diva. Now, there are several different matchups we could see as a result of this women's match. We could see Becky Lynch going face-to-face with Charlotte. We could see Nikki Bella face-to-face with Charlotte. I think one thing people want to see is how would any of the women on the SmackDown side fare against Nia Jax. Now, some people thought that maybe, if Natalya does become part of the match itself, some people would love to see Natalya go head-to-head with Nia Jax. I don't know. It's an interesting mix between these superstars, if you will. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say. When it comes to predictions, I don't know. I would have to say... Well, I think when it comes down to it, you've got more... I don't know. I could say you have more dominance and intimidation on the Raw side. You've got Charlotte, who's the current champion. Sasha Banks, who former champion. Bayley, who's been able to hold her own. Nia Jax, probably one of the more destructive forces on the women's side in WWE right now. Alicia Fox is... I think Alicia Fox is that wild card, though. That's just me. But when you look at the women's side, you have Becky Lynch is the current champ, and then you have a former champion in Nikki Bella. But Naomi has had her share of hot matches, we'll just say. And when good hype, good matches to some degree. Natalya, as the coach, I feel was a mistake. I feel she should have been part of the match as well because she is a former champion as well. It would have given them a little more strength in their lineup. Then you got Carmella and Alexa Bliss. Those two, I feel, are what you could say, they're the wild cards, if you will. But with, if Natalya's going to be at ringside, that could tip the balance back and forth. It's hard to say, though. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So my prediction will be, given what I've mentioned, logically, I'd say the victory would go to Team Raw. So Raw would win, in this case, from what my predictions are, because I mentioned several the outcomes for the Cruiserweight and Intercontinental. Those are the up-in-the-air ones. So right now, with the Survivor Series elimination tags, Raw has 2 victories now. Now for the final one, final elimination, we have 5-on-5 men's side of the spectrum. We have, representing SmackDown, we have the WWE World Heavyweight Champion AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, and then rounding it out is the SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon versus the Raw side, represented by Kevin Owens, who is the Universal Champion, Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Braun Strowman. Now, it's going to be very interesting, and here's why. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns, former members of the Shield. Now, there's people have been talking about a possibility of the Shield reuniting, and Survivor Series is when the Shield made themselves, made their presence known back in 2000 and I want to say it was 2012. Survivor Series with the CM Punk, John Cena, not Roman Reigns, Ryback WWE Championship match. This would be an interesting twist, a plot twist, to see them reunite. Now, let's see, Bray Wyatt apparently having a fellow Wyatt family member in Randy Orton. I feel when it comes to Randy Orton that it's kind of a trap. That, Randy Orton's really scheming, is behind the scenes, kind of like, it's like what he was doing with Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins was with the Authority. Biding his time, picking his opportunity to attack. But on the other side, you got Bray Wyatt could potentially come face to face with his monster, with what he brought in Braun Strowman. And then you got Jericho, Owens, who kind of been butting heads from time to time. All right, which matchups would I like to see between these guys? Oh, I can think of several pretty good ones. I would love to see Strowman versus Wyatt. That would be a good thing. That would be good to see how the monster fares against the guy that pretty much brought him to the dance. Not to say that he literally did. But Strowman did get his, when he was part of the Wyatt family back when he finally got that main event exposure, or what do you want, or big league exposure, whatever you want to call it. Okay. I'd like to see AJ Styles go up against Roman Reigns again. We haven't seen that since before Styles' heel turn. See Styles go against Kevin Owens. See Owens against Ambrose. Or hell, back when Kevin Owens was beefing with Shane McMahon. Like Z McMahon beat the living crap out of him a little bit. Not literally, but you get the point. I mean, there's several good matchups intertwining that we could actually see here. Now, where do I see the most unity? Between the two teams, I would have to say most likely Team SmackDown, especially with that extra incentive by The Undertaker. So, I don't know. It's like I think I see more cohesion though, but with Raw, because you got Owens, who's in a kind of a tag team alliance, whatever, with Jericho. You've got Rollins, who's, I guess in a sense patched up with Roman Reigns a little bit. He's come to his defense every once in a while. The wild card would be Strowman, on that side. With the SmackDown side, you really don't. The only wild card you could potentially say would be Shane McMahon. But at the same time, as I've mentioned, it's hard to say. So, prediction here. Given the possibility of The Undertaker's presence, I think will be known, will be possibly most likely felt here, in a sense. So what I think will happen is, this will be where SmackDown gets the win. If I were to say a Survivor or Soul Survivors, we could probably maybe Shane McMahon and AJ Styles, or Shane McMahon, Dean Ambrose, or I can't really give you a Survivor's outcome. Who will be left standing. So I would love to see a shutout, but I guarantee that ain't gonna happen. Not with the superstars they have here. So it's Team SmackDown with a victory. My prediction here. So 2-1. For the final match, we got Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Last time these two faced off was WrestleMania 20. These two were booed out the wazoo because everyone knew they were leaving after WrestleMania 20. Now, who do I think will win? This is going to be short and sweet, guys, because let's think about this. Goldberg hasn't been in a WWE ring in 12 years, so he's going to have some sort of ring rust. Lesnar has done matches from here and there, so he's employed by the WWE still. He's used. And I can't see Lesnar losing to Goldberg unless they actually plan on doing something with Goldberg after this. So if they do plan to use him after this, which would be nice, but I don't know if they will, I could see Goldberg getting the win with the jackhammer, but at the same time, though, so that's outcome for if Brock Lesnar was to lose to Goldberg, it'd be to Goldberg. Goldberg would win either via the jackhammer or the spear. He did use both of those. Now, if for Brock Lesnar for the victory with Brock Lesnar, I would say the finishers would be either the F5 or the Kimura lock. I would like to see a victory via submission by Brock Lesnar since he does have the Kimura lock. And I've yet to see him beat anybody with it. It would be nice to see that. But again, now given how they've booked this kind of a feud, rivalry, whatever you want to call it, between these two, if I were to say which one would win, though, I've given my outcomes, but if I were to predict who'd get the victory, I would have to say Brock Lesnar. I want to say that I could see him actually losing to Goldberg, but I personally can't. But I would love to be surprised. All right. So that's my prediction / discussion over WWE SmackDown. Well, not SmackDown. WWE Survivor Series that takes place tomorrow. So let me know what you guys think of what my predictions were and what you think of the matches. I apologize for this. This is a very lengthy video again. I apologize for that it took so long to go over everything, but I felt there were things I should have gone over. So if you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you're not subbed to my channel and you like the content that I do, feel free to subscribe for more. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to follow me. If you want to follow me on Twitch, you're more than welcome to, even though I'm not really using it yet. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Hope you guys have a good weekend. And as always, I'll catch you later. Peace out.